So years ago, I was rocking a credit score of just 500 and it bounced around year after year, but finally I figured out how to get that elusive 800 credit score. And let me tell you, it's been a game changer. We are talking access to the best reward credit cards, super low interest rates on loan, mortgages, and the list goes on. It turns out everyone likes seeing that top tier score. So in today's video, I'm going to be breaking down 5 things I wish I knew sooner that helped me hit that 800 mark. Seriously, if I would have known these years ago, I could have saved myself a ton of stress and confusion. So let's kick things off with the golden rule of paying your credit cards on time. This might sound obvious now, but when I was starting out, I had no clue how to handle my credit card.
I have absolutely no idea what's going on.
I mean, you get this bill and suddenly there's all this jargon, statement balance, minimum payment due, current balance. What the heck are even they talking about? It almost feels like these credit card companies don't want you to pay your bills on time or in full. For a while, I just avoided the whole thing and stuck to using my debit card. I thought, hey, I can't get into debt this way, but this was a big mistake. I lost my debit card and put my money at risk, open to fraud.
Identity theft. Bank fraud,
which credit cards protect you against. Plus, I wasn't building any credit or earning rewards. So the rule is to pay off your statement balance on time in full every single month. If you have multiple cards like myself, it's easier to set up auto payment on all of your cards for your entire statement balance. 2 big reasons why. 1, paying off a statement balance means nothing carries over to the next month, so you're not paying any interest at all. Number 2, your payment history accounts for 35% of your credit score. It's the most important factor. 1 missed payment can tank your score and stick around on your credit report for 7 years. Yeah, 7 years. I found this out the hard way a few years back, and trust me, I don't want this happening to myself or you ever. Now, if you're thinking to yourself, I just missed a payment, don't freak out just yet. Most lenders won't report the credit bureau until 30 days later. So if you realize you forgot, pay it ASAP to avoid any ding on your report, and maybe follow up with your credit card company as well. Now let's talk about credit utilization. Sounds fancy or maybe even a little bit scary. All it really means is a percentage of your available credit that you're using, which makes up 30% of your score. So extremely important and maybe the easiest and fastest way to increase your score. So here's how to calculate it. Just take your statement balance and divide it by the credit limit. So if you got a statement balance of $325 and a credit limit of $5,000, my utilization is around 0.065%. It's super simple math and easy to understand. The goal is to keep it under 10%, ideally the low single digits. But here's the kicker. Credit score modeling doesn't have a long-term memory. If your utilization spikes 1 month, your score might drop temporarily, but it'll bounce back once you lower it. Pro tip, if you know you're about to have a high balance, you can lower your utilization by paying down part of it before the statement closing date to keep your utilization low. Lastly, if you're someone like me that spends a lot and is always playing the credit card reward game, then consider looking at an Amex Gold and Platinum charge cards. Charge cards don't go against your utilization, while something like the Sapphire card will. I'm able to spend a little on my credit cards to improve my credit score, then spend the majority on my Amex cards without worrying of any negative impact as long as I pay my statement balance every month. One of the best ways to build credit early is getting on someone else's account, like your parents or trusted adults. As an authorized user, even before you turn 18, they can add you to one of their credit cards and you'll start benefiting from their credit history. It's called piggybacking, and it's a great shortcut to establish credit when you're just starting out. So here's how it works. Let's say your parents have a credit history of 10 years with a solid payment history and low utilization. If they add you as an authorized user, the credit card's history gets added to your credit report. Just like that, you've got a longer credit history and a better score, even if you never swiped your card yourself.
I like the sound of that.
Now, obviously, this only works if your account, your piggybacking, is in good standing. If the primary cardholder has missed payments or maxed out their card, this could actually hurt your score, so make sure that it's someone financially responsible. Now, if you don't have someone like this, it's completely fine. Don't worry about it. You can build your credit history by opening your own credit cards and keeping those accounts in good shape over time. It's imperative that you keep these accounts open as long as possible. So my best advice is for your first credit card, you should get one without an annual fee so you never have to close this account. Credit length has a 15% impact on your credit score, but is the most difficult one to increase as it's based on time. So if you're wondering, am I too young to have a credit card? No, just be smart about it and thank me later. Speaking of being smart, whenever you apply for a new credit card or loan, the lender does what's called a hard inquiry on your credit report. This might drop your score by a few points temporarily, but the impact fades pretty quickly, usually within the year. In the long run, opening new accounts can actually help your score. You'll get a higher total credit limit, which lowers your overall utilization, and you'll build more positive payment history. My best advice is to space out your applications. If you're planning to open multiple credit cards, give them 3 to 6 months between applications to minimize the short-term impact. But if you're really trying to tap into that reward system through the credit card game, it's only 10% of your credit score mix, so it won't be catastrophic. Now, I did mention mix, didn't I? And that's the last part we gotta talk about, the credit mix, which is worth only 10% of your score. It's basically a variety of credit types, but honestly, don't force this. You shouldn't take out a loan just to improve your credit card mix. This will likely put you in a bad financial situation. If you need a car loan or a mortgage, great, but let the credit mix develop naturally over time. So there you have it, guys. If you want that 800 plus credit score, there's no magic trick here. It's all about building good habits, being consistent, and giving it time. Even if your score is in the high 700s, that's more than enough to get approved for top tier credit cards and great loan rates. If you want to see how I score tens of thousands of dollars and free travel with credit card strategies, subscribe to my channel. Thanks for hanging out with me today, and I'll catch you on the next one.